So you're asking this question to a person who faced 2 times in his lifetime a situation where he was like almost at the verge of losing the job. And I had my home loan at that point in time, not just one, two of them. If I would have not survived back then, I started investing after I cleared all of my debt. So eventually I had a goal that I had to have a corpus of at least 25 to 30 times of my then annual expenses. I don't know if I should call it out on camera. I want to reach 100 CR corpus in 30 years. We do not have a sit-at-home dads kind of a culture in India still, right? And not very widely accepted one. We told him that I'll be working from home. I'll be at home full day with you. And mom is going to go to office. And to our surprise, his reaction was,
So freedom के अलावा भी कुछ करते हैं तो लाइफ हो
Hi Manish, let's start with your background, your journey, how this idea of financial freedom came into your mind.
I was born and brought up in Patna, studied there. I did my Master of Computer Applications, and I moved to Delhi back in 2010 in search of my job. Started with a BPO, worked there for 2 years, and then moved into IT. And that is how I called it quits after working for 22 years.
So in this 18 years or rather 22 years, right, how did your salary increase?
Assuming I started with a 1 lakh per annum salary back in 2002, when I quit, I was at a 70 lakhs. It comes to around 22.5% of annual growth.
Compounding in its truest
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. As my earnings increased, I did not increase my expenses in the same tune. And that is what led me to actually start focusing on where am I headed, right? When I got married back in 2009 December, we straight away went into buying a house. I started investing after I cleared all of my debt.
Very interesting. So you said 2010 you started working.
No, 2002 is when I started
2002
working,
is-
but bought
yeah.
the house in 2010.
10 and then paid off the loan for I think I'm assuming a good number of years.
In 8 years.
8 years and then started investing. Basically your investment journey, if I say that's like 6 years old.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly around 6 years.
That's quite inspirational.
Yeah.
Walk us through your debt journey of taking that loan, paying it, and how did you navigate through those repayments? Any hacks, anything that you can share?
True, definitely. I, kind of faced my first brutal corporate crisis back when I was like exactly at 15 years in my work. So that is where I almost lost my job, and I had my home loan at that point in time, not just one, two of them. My wife was not working at that point in time, right? After maternity, she had taken a break. At that point in time, I think I had a home loan repayment left of around 40 lakhs. If I would have not survived back then we would have to have pack our bags and then go back to our hometown. And that is when we decided that come what may, we first need to become debt free so that we have a house to live in, we have a reason to stay here, right? And that is how we actually started aggressively prepaying the home loans. So in round about 10 years, we were out of debt.
At that time, did you have any savings, any cushion, or it started from zero to financially free?
Back in 2017, when I look back, I definitely had my PPF, I had my EPF, but then they were all logged securities, right? I mean, they were not instruments where we had, I had access to that money. EPF is logged for a long period of time. PPF is the same, right? So, like I said, I did things in sequence, and that is the biggest mistake that I made. I had very minimal savings at that point in time because since I wanted to go aggressively chasing becoming debt-free first, everything which I was able to save, I was mostly utilizing to prepay the debt.
Post becoming debt-free, how did you start your investment journey? How did you navigate? Which instruments did you invest in? Please walk us through that.
The moment we became debt-free, we again had this problem where we had a lot of cash, right? Because we moved into our own house, that was one. So that was saving a lot of rental expenses.
A problem I would like to have.
Yes,
lot
exactly.
Of cash.
Definitely. We also had our EMI which stopped.
Correct.
And these are like major outflows for any household, right? So these were two, large chunks of money which we started deploying into fixed income kind of securities first, and that is what we built. So eventually, I had a goal that I had to have a corpus of at least 25 to 30 times of my then annual expenses. That is what my goal was.
What was that number, if I may ask?
So household expenses at around 1 lakh right now would be around 12 lakhs per year. So it will amount to be around 3.6 crores. Investable expense, right? So that excludes the house that we are living in. So this is the corpus that we need to invest. So half of that would be roughly around 1.8 crores in fixed income kind of securities, and the rest half would be in equity. But since I was coming from a background where I already had a situation where I almost lost my job, I thought that come what may, I am myself quitting the moment I reach my 30x mark. When that was done, I started learning how to invest into equity. That is how I continue to do the deployment in the equity.
What exactly do you mean by fixed instruments? In equity also, mutual fund, stocks, what?
50% of the capital is what I deployed into fixed income, and that kind of takes care of my month-to-month expenses.
Okay.
And,
Till now.
Till now.
Today. Okay.
Yeah, till today. And the rest of it is to grow faster, right? So that it kind of beats the inflation, and I have purchasing power which increases over a period of time, right? So that is where the rest of the capital is deployed into equity.
Got it. And within equity, mutual funds, stocks, do you do stock picking?
I earlier was doing mutual funds, but there's a cap to which a mutual fund can give you in terms of return, right? What if I want more? So that is where I gotten into a mix of mutual fund as well as direct equity. A very small portion of my equity portfolio is into mutual funds still, but majority is into direct equity.
Did this happen as you were working? Like, how did you find the time to learn? As I understand, stock picking takes time, right? You cannot just blindly follow a stock tip, right?
So you're asking this question to a person who faced 2 times in his lifetime a situation where he was like almost at the verge of losing the job. I had to find out time. Over the weekends, prior to going to office, after coming back from office, is when I used to find out time to read my books, look at charts, and study and do my analysis.
So all
and
on your
research.
own?
All by myself, but then I definitely had mentors who were guiding me all this in the journey.
I think a very important question is, along this, life happens, right? And one of the most important decisions you take in your life is choosing a partner. So in your financial freedom journey, how did that play a role? And, how would you advise to people, what's the role of a partner in someone's financial freedom journey?
Actually, it's a very difficult topic to tackle if it is not handled correctly, is when both the partners are not in sync as to what they broadly want to achieve in their life. I was lucky because my wife also comes from the same background. She is from the same part of India, and she also had similar reasonable aspirations from life. So when we thought of this idea of eventually becoming financially free, I had her whole support.
Absolutely. I think alignment of partners is the most important alignment you would need in your life. So on this note, can we call your wife?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for joining in. You are still working, right? While I think Manish has quit his corporate career and he's now in his next phase of life. Tell me more about this decision of continuing to work.
Since we have a child, and taking care of him was absolutely not an easy task. So when he decided to quit his job, I was actually happy from inside that he will quit the job and he will take care of our son. Whenever I feel that I have to pursue my dream, then I will quit, definitely, but not right now.
There's an interesting thing, right? We do not have a sit-at-home dads kind of a culture in India still, right? And not very widely accepted one. So we did not know how to break this news to the family. That was one challenge. And we also did not know how to break this news to our son. We told him that I'll be working from home. I'll be at home full day with you. And mom is going to go to office. And to our surprise, his reaction was, it sounds okay, but can we swap the roles? Can mom be at home and you go to office?
As a couple, right, we talk a lot about how good life becomes after being financially free. But in this journey, what all sacrifices, if I may use that word, you had to make, if any?
We did not make a lot of sacrifices because we did not have a fixed timeline around this, but we did have a very clear understanding of what we wanted to achieve. We definitely had our saving goals. That is what we continue to chase. We saved first, and then whatever we were left with, we spent.
Since you said that word, saving goal, do you still have that saving goal? I mean, do you still...
Yeah, I have a very audacious goal. I don't know if I should call it out on camera, but from my investing, I want to reach 100 CR
Wow.
corpus in 30 years.
That's amazing. As a couple, right, for someone who is just starting out in 30s, early 30s, what advice would you give them to navigate through this financial freedom journey collectively?
Well, there are a few things that I see that needs to actually change drastically for them to be living this life, right? The first thing is striking a balance between what they live today versus later, which is what we now call as delayed gratification versus instant gratification. The problem right now is that everybody wants everything and they want everything right now, right? That just cannot happen. People need to learn a little about how money works. What happens is that money works in 3 different dimensions, right? It starts with earning, so you have an income, then you have expenses, and then whatever you're left with is what you invest. And mostly people think that they can solve their money problems by earning and earning more. Little that they know that they can even tap into their current income, living within their means, and then investing it in a meaningful manner so that it compounds at a very rapid pace. And even with their current income, they can actually do this.
So in short and simple, I would say that first save the money and then you spend that money.
I think one thing where the trick lied for us is that although we knew that where income was increasing drastically and our expenses was naturally coming down when we moved to our own house and then the EMI stopped, we never let that part of the savings go into extra spending. Around 4 years is what it took us from deciding to become debt free to becoming debt free, and another 4 years to build the retirement corpus. That's it. 8 years, and the whole life changed after that.
Wow. This conversation just gave me so much perspective. Life is not like, right, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, right? Think of it like your 60, 70-year journey, and if you plan it well, you can actually enjoy a meaningful chunk out of it. Can we call Adi on this note?
Definitely. He'll be more than excited to join.
आदि कैसा लग रहा है? पापा घर पे है, मम्मा काम पे जाती हैं, कैसा लगता है?
बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं। मैं घर में हूँ, पापा ऑफिस से, ये फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम के अलावा भी कुछ करते हैं।
So I'm like mostly when I'm like teaching or when I'm into my own sessions, then he's like, why are you required to do this now?
Manish, Preeti, Adi, thank you so much for sharing your story. I had a great time.